At a time when the world is distracted, watching superpowers collide and old alliances fracture, a quiet realignment is taking place on Europe's western edge. Not with speeches. Not with headlines, but with infrastructure. Tonight, we're going to explore why Canada quietly turned away from Europe's traditional gateways and placed its bet on Spain. A decision that may redefine how access to Europe works for decades to come. Clear your mind. Step back from the noise. Let's look at how power really moves. Europe's hidden bottleneck. For years, Europe relied on familiar entry points. Northern ports, crowded corridors, overloaded routes designed for a different era. And as pressure built from energy shocks, supply chain failures, and political fragmentation, those routes began to strain. Canada saw the risk early, and it asked a different question. Not how much Europe trades, but where that trade enters. Why Spain? Spain isn't loud, it isn't theatrical, but it has something rare. Position. Spain faces both the Atlantic and the Mediterranean. Two oceans, two supply worlds. One entry point. That dual access means flexibility routes that don't depend on a single choke point or a single political mood. For Canadian trade, that matters a lot. Geography is only the beginning. Ports alone don't make a gateway, systems do. Spain didn't just expand docks, it rebuilt logistics from the ground up. Smart ports, automated routing, integrated rail and road networks designed to absorb sudden shocks. When demand spikes, the system bends, it doesn't break. For Canada, this is operational security. But infrastructure alone isn't the decisive factor. Integration is. Spain isn't just connected to Europe, it is Europe. Goods entering Spanish ports don't stop at national borders. They move freely across the entire European market. For Canada, this changes everything. Accessing Europe no longer means negotiating country by country. It means entering a system once. From trade to strategy, as complexity dropped, confidence rose. Planning cycles stabilized, costs became predictable, risk declined. By the early 2020s, this was no longer trade policy. It became national strategy. Canada wasn't just exporting goods, it was building a corridor. Because whoever controls the entry point controls reliability, and reliability is power. Then came energy to change the equation. In modern economies, energy security isn't about production, it's about movement, receiving, processing, distributing at scale. Spain already plays a central role in Europe's energy architecture. Gas terminals, LNG routes, cross-border connectivity. For Canada, this meant something critical. A system built for long-term agreements, not temporary fixes. Energy projects last decades. They cost billions. They demand trust. Once aligned, they don't reverse easily. That's when cooperation stops being optional and becomes structural. But energy and technology require more than logistics. They require protection. In September 2025, Canada and Spain signed an information security agreement. Quiet, technical, powerful. It allowed cooperation in sensitive sectors, technology, energy, advanced infrastructure. This is the moment the relationship changed. Trust became formal. And once trust is institutionalized, the door opens wider. Power today is no longer physical alone. Goods move through ports, but value moves through data, contracts, standards, systems. Canada and Spain understood this early. A corridor dependent only on ships is fragile. A corridor reinforced digitally is resilient. Digital services scale fast. They bypass bottlenecks. They deepen integration. For Canada, this meant something strategic. Access to European value chains beyond raw materials, design, engineering, systems management. Less dependence on volatile cycles elsewhere. More control. For Spain, digital integration elevated its role. No longer just a passageway, but a platform. This relationship now operates on three levels. Goods moving physically, energy flowing structurally, digital services moving independently. If one layer faces disruption, the others continue. That's resilience. That's design. Over time, reliability compounds. Industries can plan. Investors gain confidence. Infrastructure scales. Replacement becomes costly. Alternatives become weaker. At this point, the relationship stops being cooperation. It becomes economic infrastructure. Spain's alignment with Canada isn't political theater, it's leverage. A system designed to function under pressure. The groundwork laid between 2020 and 2025 made this possible. Innovation completed the structure. Trust stabilized it. The strongest corridors of the future won't rely on one advantage. They will combine logistics, energy, digital trust. Spain has the structure to play this role. Canada has the discipline to treat it as a long-term asset, not a shortcut, not a gamble. This story isn't about volume. It's about entry. Because in modern economics, where you enter often matters more than how much you trade. Spain may be becoming Europe's quiet gatekeeper. So the real question is this: if the Spanish gateway succeeds, which traditional European entry points lose their influence? And who feels it first? Share your thoughts in the comments. The story ends here, but the game is far from over. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay with us for the first chapter of every news story. Goodbye.